Are you full of rage? Can you feel it barely simmering under the surface as you try and just pretend it's not there? In today's video, we are going to be talking all about rage rituals. These are ways that we can allow our anger, our rage, everything to bubble up within us, move through our bodies so that we can move forward in a way that is more emotionally regulated, lighter, and more free. Hi, my name is Mandy and welcome back to the Feral Self-Care channel. Today we are going to be talking about rage rituals, and in this video in particular I am going to tell you the 3 steps that are essential to every rage ritual, no matter the specifics of what you're actually doing. By the end of this video, my goal for you is that you are going to be able to walk away and create your own rage rituals completely for free, very healing, very primal, very Feral Self-Care approved. Now, first, it's important to acknowledge that the human experience is a very primal, felt, emotional experience. And we have a tendency in our society when it comes to really difficult emotions like grief or anger or rage to repress them or stuff them down. Like, these are certainly not the emotions that we are just going out and sharing, you know, in the grocery store lineup. Hopefully, although your mileage may vary these days. But essentially, it's not like polite dinner conversation to talk about how full of rage that you are. But the reality is, in this messy experience of being a human being, this is all totally normal shit. And it's stuff that needs to have space held for it. We need to acknowledge these feelings in order to not let them just sit around weighing us down from the inside. A lot of us have been conditioned or programmed by society or through growing up to not acknowledge our feelings, right? Not acknowledge our rage, and particularly not to acknowledge our feelings if they are inconvenient for other people, which anger, rage, etc. certainly can be. Now, anger and rage are just like any other emotion in the fact that they are actually very beneficial and very useful depending on where you direct them or what you point them to. Rage can be a healing force, it can be a creative force, and it can be a force for change. And so we should not be sleeping on the power of connecting with our sacred anger. So to begin, what is a ritual? So this is a question that has, you know, a variety of answers. So a ritual can be something as, you know, prescriptive with a lot of different steps, as say the lesser banishing ritual of the pentacle, or it could be something very casual, for example singing happy birthday on somebody's birthday. But in general, a ritual is kind of an intentional set of steps made for a specific purpose that incorporate some sort of symbolic representation, often, not always, depending on how loose your definition is. But these can be, you know, religious, these can be secular. There are so many different types of rituals. Now, there are 3 fundamentals in rage rituals. I'm going to tell you them right now so that when you're creating your own rage ritual to do at home, by yourself, wherever you plan to do it, these are the 3 steps that will bring you the most success. So step 1 is to connect or find that energy in your system. Again, we are so used to repressing and stuffing this shit down, it can actually be really hard for a lot of us to connect with anger, rage, any of that stuff in the first place. It can feel deeply taboo, it can be very triggering for us, and it can be something that is not thoroughly encouraged, so it can be a little bit challenging. So to connect or find that energy in the system, it requires some element of slowing down, of pausing, and of reflecting, right? So you can do this through a guided meditation, or you can kind of sit with yourself for a little bit and do a body scan and try and feel into that emotion. Where is it held in your body? What are the experiences that have contributed to it? Are you dealing with something right now that is making you feel full of rage? Or is it a collection or an amalgamation of a bunch of stuff that is like piling up within you? The first step is to acknowledge that it's there and to try and feel into it and try to find it. The second step is to acknowledge, name, and validate the rage that's inside of you. This requires us to unmask. It requires us to honor the emotion. It requires us to fess up and admit to it. I'm feeling ragey right now. Like, I'm not feeling fucking good. I have a lot of pent up bullshit, anger, etc. inside of me, and I am choosing to give it space to have its moment so that I can move forward in a way that's more empowered and lighter and more free. Again, this can be really challenging because this is not something that we are kind of encouraged to do or taught to do, particularly in the like matrix level of programming of society. And the third step is to act it out, to channel it out, to find a way to take all those feelings that you've identified, you've connected with, and allow it to move through you. A really great example of a rage ritual is that scene in Office Space. I'm not sure if you've seen the movie Office Space, it's so good, but where one of the characters, Michael Bolton, if you know, you know. One of the characters, he has this printer that's been like driving him nuts, right? It's just absolutely been like really fucking with him on this low level for a long time, and he ends up taking it out back and like stomping the shit out of it. He takes a baseball bat and they just destroy this thing. They're kicking it. They're just letting it all through. That is such a really great example of a rage ritual. So typically rage rituals kind of have three elements in this step. So there's usually some sort of act of symbolism. There's usually some sort of act of like destruction or destructiveness, some sort of like, I want to say violence, but that's not quite the right word. It's this like transmutive power of destruction. And then there's also the element of having things be somatic, right? So engaging your body. This might be stomping. It might be a primal scream, which by the way feels hella fucking good. Might be a primal scream, might be dancing, might be making these like gestures. It might be something that is very much a body flow, body movement. No matter what you choose to do for this part of your ritual, it's really important mainly just to get it out of your body, to allow it to move through you. So a good example would be in season 1 of the Feral Self-Care Collective, we did a practice and activity where we like wrote out all of our challenging, difficult feelings, the things that were upsetting us, etc. And then we took it and we ripped it up into individual words. And then we took that destroyed piece of writing, channeled out a bit of information, we destroyed it, we cut up, tore it up, and took the words and used some of those words to create a poem, to create something new for the next phase. This was a symbolic representation of the fact that you can take your mess and turn it into something positive, something brighter moving forward. This is the essence of a rage ritual. It's to take those feelings, allow them to move through you so that you can be refreshed and transmute that energy into something a little more light. Now, I'm going to give you an extra step here, so I guess this is like a bonus step 4, which is basically the integration phase. So this isn't part of your ritual so much, but it's something I would highly recommend. If you've done a rage ritual before, and if you haven't, just a heads up, in the next season of the Feral Self-Care Collective, which depending on when you're watching this, this would be the July to September 2025 season, I'm going to be guiding a rage ritual for the group. So make sure to check my links below to check that out. I also have a freebie down there, a Feral Self-Care starter pack, so make sure to download that. But essentially, after you do your ritual, it's really normal to feel like you've just done cardio. It's really normal to have cried. It's really normal to feel vulnerable or tender or anything like that. So give yourself some time to process. I highly recommend like writing out anything that came up for you in a journal. That can be super helpful, particularly if you're the type of person who struggles to connect to your self-care. If you have documented that something has worked well for you and felt good for you and had a powerful, profound effect on you, it's more motivating to really anchor that in through writing and then know that later you can refer back to it. Other things you might want to do though is like take a bath, maybe just chill out, maybe get vibey, do a meditation, something like that. A rage ritual is not exactly the sort of thing you do like 10 minutes before you got to take your kid to soccer practice or go to Costco. Like, it's sort of a kind of thing that is really done best if you allow it to have a nice container where you're intentionally approaching it and you're intentionally disconnecting from the anger afterwards. We're not trying to connect to our anger to feel full of rage all the time. It's essentially to allow it to move through us so it's not just like gunking up in our system. So your bonus step is to allow yourself to integrate and have like a cool down period. So let us know what you think of this video below. What are the sorts of things that you want to incorporate in your rage rituals? Comment below and tell us. And if you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe. It's so helpful for our brand new channel here. So if you're interested in feral self-care and quick actionable practices to help you feel better, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay wild, friends.